I'd like to share with you a list I came up with regarding the top 10 mistakes that novice players make that hurts their poker game. The first thing I put on the list was bluffing too much. Many rookies have seen way too many Hollywood movies and think poker is all about bluffing. Somehow they think that, if they just keep betting, everyone will get out of their way. Problem is, the habitual bluffer is identified by his opponents early, and they're on to his game. The next thing, lack of patience. To play poker properly, you'll find that you'll go through long stretches of sheer boredom waiting for good cards. Rookies often, they don't have the patience to wait for the good hands and start playing hands they know they shouldn't out of sheer boredom. Next is playing limits they can't afford. Nothing is more detrimental to your confidence and your bankroll than gambling for money you can't afford to lose. You simply can't make unbiased and smart decisions when you also have to think about how you're going to pay off the rent if the Queen of Spades doesn't bail you out on the river. It's very important to play within limits you feel comfortable with. That way you'll be able to focus on the game rather than the financial implications. The next mistake is drinking while playing. You need to have all your wits about you in order to make quality decisions at the table. It's no coincidence that the casinos offer you free alcohol, okay? It clouds your judgment and will have you making plays you wouldn't have made with a clearer head. A big mistake is quitting while you are ahead. Sorry to burst your bubble, people, but there's no system for figuring out when it's time to pack up and leave. The worst system that many rookies utilize is the one where they hit and run by quitting after very small wins, but continue to play when they're way behind. If anything, that's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. When you're winning, you have a powerful table presence you should look to exploit. When you're losing, your table image is tarnished and it can have a negative effect on your confidence. Next is playing in tough games. Rookie players, some of which aren't even all that bad at poker, will often find themselves in games against competition they just can't handle. Rather than playing in the smaller limit games against opponents of comparable skill, they prefer to go head-to-head with the pros. Guess how that usually turns out? How about ego? No, you're not as good as you think you are, and you have a lot to learn. The day you realize that you know nothing about poker is the day that you actually might start learning a thing or two. It's important to be very objective regarding your poker skills and where they might need improvement. Playing too many hands is next. Most beginning players play more hands than they should, not understanding the importance of starting with premium hands in premium situations. Before sitting down to play, retain some of the information here on Poker VT so you can understand why 9-3 is a bad hand to start with, whether it's suited or not. Okay. Tilt. Tilt eats bankrolls for breakfast. Playing more hands and losing focus, a tilted player loses all faith in his game plan and will chase inside straight draws even though he knows he shouldn't. And the number one mistake rookie poker players make, playing too many hours. Your brain just doesn't function as well after 22 hours of sitting at the table. Rather than getting some rest and coming back fresh the next day, most rookies end up playing too many hours trying to chase their money back. In the process, they end up throwing away even more money. Your mind plays tricks on you after too many hours, and you'll often convince yourself that you're playing really well. Chances are, you're not. So that's the list. And if you find yourself committing these mistakes, then you ain't been paying attention to these lessons.